Alright guys, welcome back to the Dark Souls Remastered walkthrough, Indiana Jones style. Now we had been saving a lot of our humanity, but now, since we did a lot of our farming, we're going to go burn through some of our stores here, and we're going to kindle our very first bonfire, and we're going to go to 20 Estus. Now, assuming that you're not human, it's going to take 4 humanity to kindle a bonfire to the max. 1 to become human, and 3 to kindle to 20. Now, the good thing about kindling bonfires is, once you kindle a bonfire, it stays throughout as many playthroughs as you're going to do. So, this bonfire that we're kindling to 20 will always be 20, no matter how many playthroughs we decide to go through. Now, we're going to go get invaded by an NPC named Man-Eater Mildridge. She will help us in the boss fight, but we're going to demoralize the boss, so it's not going to really matter. Since we got our crossbow to +10, it's going to be a very short fight. We're just using her as a distraction. Make sure you take out this chaos bug and take out as many of these mosquitoes as possible before she shows up. Once she does show up, run into the tunnel again. This is going to make it to where you don't get flanked by the mosquitoes. And make sure you equip the hornet ring since we're going to parry her. Her attacks are pretty slow. The wind-up is easy to see and parry. The hardest part about this fight is the mosquitoes. As you can see, one is coming in right now. So what we have to do is create some distance and get an opportunity to attack the mosquito. But they go down with 1 crossbow bolt, so just got to find the right chance to attack it. And then we're just going to finish off Man-Eater. And she'll give us a few items that we're not going to use though. But the humanity is always useful. One straight, after you parry an enemy, you can have 1 free attack pretty much as they stand up. They take time to recover. Now, let's pick up the 3 humanity we're going to get. And you'll also get the butcher knife, which we're not going to use in this playthrough. Now, during your trek to the boss, you will be poisoned. There really is no way to avoid it as far as I know. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and adjust your quick bar as necessary. So we're going to put the purple moss on our quick bar so we can quickly get healed from the poison. And don't forget to re-equip the rusted iron ring so you can run towards the boss. Now initially we're going to go left so we can pick up a few items that we missed before. One is a soul item right here, and the other is going to be a large titanite shard. But it's important to stay to the right when approaching the boss area, because if you don't, there's going to be some rock throwing orbs that get aggroed, and you don't want to deal with that. So right here, just go straight. Now right here by this pillar is where Quelagg's sister would have appeared if you have a +10 pyromancy flame, but we don't, so she's not going to appear in this playthrough. Now, stay far right. You stay to this side and as far right as you can. They will never aggro those rock throwing orbs. And go ahead and heal yourself from the poison here. And whatever you do, do not touch these egg creatures in this tunnel, because they'll give you a lot of headaches, and they spew out all the parasites and stuff. You can actually get infected by them if you want, and you'll become an egghead yourself, but we're not doing that either. But it's necessary to get an item from one of the NPCs. Now here's your summon sign right by the fog wall. Now Man-Eater is quite useful during this fight, but she will get stuck in the lava that the boss spews, and most of the time she's just trying to get out of lava, but whenever she does get out, the boss's attention will be focused on her, giving you plenty of chances to shoot the boss from distance. Now the main danger of this boss is the massive AoE attack that she does. Once you get close to her and hit her a few times, she'll lay down on the spider and cause pretty much a one-hit kill attack. So we're going to maintain our distance most of the time during this fight. And her sword can cause a lot of damage, especially the stab attack, which will cause a significant amount of damage. Now see how she's turning around here? We're just going to pump her ass full of bolts, and make sure to use your large bolts too. Now there's the lava spew. Now the NPC usually gets stuck in that. As you can see there, she's already getting stuck. Now the boss is focused on us again. generally a good idea to stay to the side of her once she's doing her sword attacks, but if she does the stab, which is right here, that one causes a lot of damage, and I was just out of range there. But she'll go through this little combo attack. As long as you make sure you watch the human part of Quelagg, if she lays down, like right there, see how she lays down? That AoE attack will pretty much one-shot you. But we're plenty enough out of range, and we're just going to finish her off from distance. Because our crossbow is +10, this fight was a cakewalk. Even without the NPC, we pretty much could have aced that fight. Now you get the Soul of Quelagg, which allows you to craft 2 boss weapons later. However, we're not going to be doing that in this walkthrough, but my favorite weapon in the entire game is from her soul. It's called the Chaos Blade. It's basically an overpowered katana with a one drawback, but you can negate that drawback. It actually causes damage to you. Again, we're not going to be using that. But the reason I like it the most is because I don't even take damage because I use it as a parry weapon. Now, we're going to go find the hidden bonfire to Quelagg's sick sister. If you have the old witch's ring, you can talk to her. But it's basically just a sad story of how she's dying. Now, one thing you want to make sure you do here is you don't answer no to this guy. Ingji or whatever his name is. Make sure you answer yes. If you answer no, you're going to have to save and quit and all that crap just to get to the bonfire here. You can join her covenant, which will allow you a shortcut to Lost Islith. But we're not going to be doing that in this walkthrough. We're going to it's the only way to save Solaire from going mad, but we're not going to save Solaire in this walkthrough. Now, we're going to go destroy the easiest boss in the history of video games. It shouldn't even be qualified as a boss. Ceaseless Discharge. Basically, you run away from the boss and you hit him a few times and that's it. A toddler could probably beat this boss. No exaggeration. This boss is basically just giving you 20,000 free souls. Now we want to make sure we slide down this cliff here. And if you have the Silver Serpent Ring equipped, which you should, you'll get 20% more souls. So, and if you, let's just say you happen to be using 2 of your ring slots during a boss that doesn't involve the Silver Serpent Ring, you can still reap the benefit of having the extra souls. If you're quick on the menu and you equip the ring just after you kill the boss, if you do it fast enough, you'll still get the reward of the extra souls. Nice little trick that I use quite often. And also, if you have the Mimic Hat, you can throw that on real quick too and get even more souls. Although we're not going to be getting the Mimic Hat in this walkthrough. It is an extremely useful item to get though before you go into New Game Plus. Now, even though I did say this is the easiest boss in the history of video games, you do have to do one thing to make it go properly. So there's these clothes off to the right, and the boss won't even become hostile until you either shoot at him or hit him in some way. But if you pick up the clothes, he will automatically go hostile. And you have to pick up the clothes and then wait. You have to wait for him to do this little thing with his arm where he spews out some lava, and once that has been accomplished, you can go. Just wait for him to do it. There you go, right there. Once he does that, you're free to run away. Run all the way back to the fog wall, and he will follow you to the fog wall and attempt to jump at you, but he always misses, and you just hit him 3 or 4 times and it's game over. Oh, and you do want to take this tunnel path here. You don't want to go the way you came. You want to make sure you take this path. I'm not sure if it messes it up or not, but better safe than sorry. So just run all the way back to the fog wall. He's right on your tail. And again, don't stop running. I mean, you want to run to the fog wall as fast as possible. But once you get there, just turn around. And there it is. Just hit him a few times. And that's it. What a joke of a boss. Easiest boss in the history, in my opinion. This will make the lava harden and you'll be able to traverse the demon ruins. Now we're going to homeward bone back. I actually shouldn't even sat at this bonfire. I should have just shouldn't have rested at that bonfire, so I could have warped back to the other bonfire. It's kind of a waste of time now. I should have told you guys don't rest at that bonfire. But you do want to kind of open up that area, though. Now, our next objective. Before we go back to the Firelink, we need to do a few things. We need to go to the Great Hollow and pick up a ring called the Chloranthy Ring, which boosts your stamina regen. Very useful ring. And also, we want to pick up our third Firekeeper Soul so we can boost our Estus Flask to +3. Now again, as a reminder, if you do not kill Lautrec by this point, he will have killed the Firekeeper. So, it won't even matter if you pick up the soul or not. If you ring both of the bells and he hasn't been dealt with, then it's you're not going to have that bonfire for a while. Quite a while. Now, let's talk about this new area, the Great Hollow. This is an optional area. It's pretty well hidden by the developers. So it's hidden behind 2 illusionary walls. And your reward for finding this area is another optional area called Ash Lake, which we will be going to later, but we're not going to explore it completely. We're just there to complete a quest. So let's talk more about this optional area called the Great Hollow. The Great Hollow is very beneficial for you to visit during each playthrough because it has 10 crystal lizards in it. But these crystal lizards are kind of special in that you're almost guaranteed at least 1 Titanite slab per visit if you kill all 10. I've seen as many as 3 drop from certain YouTubers. I've seen 3 of them drop, so it's a possibility. It's kind of like, you know, it's the luck of the draw type thing, so it's worth it. If you get 3, you're really in good shape, but we really just need it for 1 to drop because we're going to get 2 from other means, but we'll be able to fully upgrade our arsenal if we just get 1 to drop. Well, minus the offhand cestus, which is a luxury. Now, if you remember when we farmed for our large Titanite shards, we never went up this branch, but now we want to. Now, up this branch, there's going to be a little opening here, and a plank shield, which we're not going to use, but also an illusionary wall right here. Now, the developers are being a little cheeky here. They make you think this is the end by putting like a dead end, but no, there's another illusionary wall here, which leads to the Great Hollow. Now, there's a bonfire right up here, but don't sit at it because we're not going to be spending much time in the Great Hollow just yet. We want to make sure we just get the ring and just homeward bone back to the other bonfire. And we did sit at the other bonfire so we wouldn't warp back to the Daughters of Chaos. Now what you want to do is you want to come up to this bend in the branch here. And you can see the shiny just below you. And what you want to do is just kind of... But before you roll off, make sure you're perfectly in line. So I'm not quite there yet. Now, right there's a little tiny opening you can see. Now just roll right off. Of course, you're going to lose a little bit of health. And there's the Chloranthy Ring, a very important ring for any build, really. Alright, let's talk about our next objective, which is to acquire the 3rd Firekeeper Soul. Now, the thing about Dark Souls is good items are usually guarded by a bunch of crap, so yeah, this is no exception. There are a ton of Blow Dart guys up here and some fire-breathing dogs to make your life miserable. So, well, the good thing about the Blow Dart guys, though, is they're a permadeath. Once you kill them once, they're dead for good, so you don't have to worry about them the next time you come through the area. So you could, you know, just go in there and die killing them, and, you know, warp, you know, come back and they're not there anymore. A much easier area, but, you know, we're not going to do that. We're going to try to do it the right way and just do it one fell swoop and not kill ourselves. But if you don't have purple and white moss, that is a option you have. Now, let's talk about this water wheel for a second. A lot of people have died trying to get off this thing, myself included, but there's a foolproof way that I've never died, and that's right here. So as soon as it starts to turn, about right like that, then you just roll right off. Never died since, so there you go. A little tip for getting off the water wheel if you've ever died on it. Now, we're going to just go up a couple of ladders, and our Blow Dart welcoming committee will be right in front of us. They will start shooting you just about right here. So you want to try to hug the left side, which I did not. And what you want to kind of do is just kind of lock onto one and then shoot him. And you probably will get toxins. It's okay though. You got the moss, hopefully. Now these mosquitoes, make sure they're not following you, because you don't want to have another nuisance on your back while you're trying to deal with the blow dart guys. It's pain enough. Alright, so once that first one is dead, there's going to be two more that are going to be attacking you to the right. So just kind of, and there's one to the left as well, so there's going to be a total of 3 right here. There's 2 of them right there they're shooting, and there's one off to this opening here to the left. But what I like to do is come all the way around, and there's another one right here. So yeah, there's a total of 4 blow dart guys right here. So and there's one down below as well. So what I like to do is make my way around to this wall and do the same thing I did before, but hopefully better this time. You can take at least one shot before getting toxins. So, and once those are dead, now you got to deal with a few of these dogs. And let me tell you, these dogs will end your life so quickly. So I like to there is a way to kill them from above. So you just have to kind of hang your foot off the edge. And you got to be careful though, because you don't want to fall off. That's a really bad thing to do. So yeah, just continue to clear the area. Make sure these dogs are dead. You might have to reposition a little bit, but like I said, just don't fall off. You definitely don't want to fall off. And once that area is clear, we're going to work our way back around to that opening that we saw earlier. I think there's a soul item there, but there is another blow dart guy there as well. And so again, you just want to try to take him out without getting toxined, but like I say, it's highly likely you will get toxined. They're so quick on that. They're so quick on that trigger, though. It's hard to, without a shield, it's really hard to avoid damage from those guys. Alright, now, the 2 dogs that we really must kill are right here. They're guarding the Firekeeper's soul. So, again, we're just going to dip our toe off the edge there and reposition if we have to. Now, I am using the large bolts because I want to make sure I'm getting the maximum damage from these shots. Alright, now, we're just going to drop down and pick up the Firekeeper's soul. But we're not out of the woods yet. There's 2 more dogs guarding the ladder that we need to get back up. Now, there are more dogs off to the right, but don't deal with them. There's no reason to. We're just going to come up here. Now, we can't get them from this elevation. Now, we just kind of want to reposition off to the left here. We can take them both out. We're safe from their aggro right here. So, alright, now that that's done, let's talk about our next objectives. So, first we're going to get out of Blighttown. Then we're going to go to the Firekeeper and reinforce our Estus Flask to +3. Then we're going to go to Andre and reinforce our whip to +10. Now that we have our whip finally, we can go to +10. Then we're going to go to Sin's Fortress, aka Sin's Funhouse. Now, if any area in this game was an Indiana Jones type area, oh, this is definitely the area. The Sin's Fortress area is full of traps. It's like a temple of sorts. Yeah, Indy would feel right at home in this area. Now, we're not going to complete Sin's Fortress just yet. We're only going there to acquire the covetous gold serpent ring, which is going to be vital for our farming in the next episode. And any time you want to farm, you definitely want to have that ring anyway. And then we're going to end the episode there once we get the gold serpent ring. So, make sure you have the hornet ring equipped. If you want to deal with these guys, you could run past them, which I probably should have, but I just wanted to show you how they are in combat. So I like to pop a shot off or 2 here. Now, they're easy to parry, and they're definitely easy to backstab. I mean, these guys are really a pushover. They just have a lot of health initially, and I haven't updated my stats at all, so I'm not getting the most damage out of my Cestus criticals yet. So I'm just really relying on the Hornet Ring's extra damage. But that's going to change relatively soon. Next episode, I think at the end of the next episode, we're definitely going to be updating our stats finally. Now, there's 2 orgs together, so you don't want to aggro both at the same time. So what I'm trying to do is lure one over here. You don't actually have to hit them. You just have to let them hear that bolts hit. As you can see, I didn't do any damage to that guy, but he's still coming at me. So we want to isolate them one-on-one here. they give you about, I think, 500 souls, which is not that much. Or is it 1,000? I can't remember. We'll see. But yeah, they're very easy to parry. And they're fun to parry, too. You could actually just backstab them after you parry them. Because enemies in this game are pretty stupid. Once they get parried, they're open to attacks pretty much all the time. Now we're just got to deal with this last guy here. They usually just have like 3 attacks. One of them is really hard to kind of judge, and it's that one right there. That one's really kind of hard to judge sometimes, but the other 2 are very slow and telegraphed. Let's see if he does it again. Yep, he's going to do it again. But we got him. Now, looks like 600. So yeah, it is 500 souls. I'm getting extra from the covetous silver ring. Alright, so that's Blighttown for us right now. Now, we didn't go through the front area, which is the hardest area usually because of all the rickety footpaths and the tribal enemies are a pain in the ass. But we're not going to have to go through there because we really don't need any items from there, so we're skipping it. But we are going back to Blighttown later to do a part of Siglin's quest, and we have to get a ring from Shiva of the East. Well, we don't have to have it, but it's a ring I like to get because it slows weapon degradation. Now, you would think, why get a ring that slows weapon degradation? Because you can just repair it at the bonfire or at the blacksmith. Well, crystal weapons break, and you can't repair them. You can only upgrade them if they're about to break. But once you get to +5, that's it. You're not going to be able to save it from breaking at that point. So wearing that ring will let it last a bit longer. And trust me, you want it to last as much as possible. But we are going to be using a crystal cestus to beat the final boss. Just because it does the most damage. And it's kind of like a resource, so you know, we can use it for the final boss. Make sure to reinforce your Estus Flask to +3 here before going up. Now, we're going to have a +6 at the end of this playthrough because I don't think it's possible to get +7 before the second playthrough. So now we're going to finally talk to the Crestfallen Warrior. We've never talked to him during this entire walkthrough, but now we're going to exhaust his dialogue so that he will move down into New Londo Ruins and become hollow. He will only become hollow if you ring the 2 bells and talk to him. If you never talk to him, he just sits there. Now, this is Frampt. He is one of the primordial serpents. There are 2 in the game. One is for the Age of Fire, and one is for the Age of Dark. So, they don't like each other. And they'll always try to manipulate you into joining their side. But, in my opinion, Frampt is more useful. Because he can break down materials if you feed him Titanite shards, or large Titanite shards, or Titanite chunks. He can break them down for you. But don't ever feed him a slab. That's just a waste. But yeah, the second primordial serpent, you won't even see him unless you never give Frampt the Lord Vessel. But if you don't give Frampt the Lord Vessel, and you go into the Abyss to fight the 4 kings, after you defeat the 4 kings, he will appear and allow you to join the Dark Wraith Covenant, which we have no interest in joining, so it really doesn't make any sense for us to not give Frampt the Lord Vessel. Now, earlier we were fighting those enemies, but now we're just going to ignore them. They're not going to give us enough souls for our time, so we're just going to move on and upgrade our whip to +10. Also, while we're down at Andre, if you're low on bolts, make sure you stock up, because there's a few areas in Sin's Fortress that you'll want to snipe these enemies from a distance. So definitely restock your stores. Now, we're going to ascend our whip to +6. First, we got to buy a few Titanite shards here, because we got to get it to +5 first. Now we can ascend it to +6 and get it to +10, because we have plenty of large Titanite shards because we farmed all those slugs. Now our whip is a little bit more formidable. We're not going to be using it in combat just yet, but trust me, we're going to be using it, don't worry. Now, our next enemy are these serpent enemies with these great swords. Now, they can pack quite a punch, especially this early in the game. Well, it's not really early, but I'd say we're almost halfway. But still, we haven't really got any armor that can sustain these blows. We're pretty much a glass cannon still. So what you want to do is come up here and we'll lure them out. They're pretty aggressive. Sometimes they'll do jumping charges at you. And you want to step on this pressure plate. And you can kill at least one of them. That'd be great, because there's a trap that comes from behind. At this point, I would just rather backstab these guys. Parrying them isn't going to do much more damage, but you can if you want to. But if you feel like intimidated, you can just go ahead and backstab them. They're quite easy to backstab. So once those two are dead, you're going to come up, make sure you get this soul item here, you're going to come up to your first obstacle in this fun house, they like to call it. It's these casters that love to shoot lightning from a distance. They're quite a pain in the ass, to be honest. We don't have a bow, so we can't really be accurate with our shots. And you'll see I struggle a little bit here. You want to lure this guy up. Don't go past this archway yet too much, because you'll be in range of the lightning caster if you go too far. And you take a shot here and you're going to go straight down to the depths below, and you're probably going to die. There's a tar pit below that have a lot of Titanite demons, and we're not going to bother killing the Titanite demons because we don't need any demon Titanite right now. Now, I used to... Sometimes you can get it to where he won't hit you here, but I was having trouble here. So these next few minutes here are going to be epic fails. Usually you can shoot him from here, but for whatever reason, the game just decided that I wasn't going to be able to have success. So, yeah. But I was determined, because I've seen this work many times before. But, yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work. I don't know why. But I'm stubborn and I keep trying here, so forgive me here for wasting your time. I should have probably edited this out, but I'm trying to be as thorough as possible in this walkthrough, showing what can happen. So I give up at this point, I think, where I'm trying a new spot. And I finally just say screw it, I think. When did I give up? Probably right here. Nope. So there's another spot you can get them from. But you'll have to time your shots so that the moving pendulum axes don't hit the bolt. I don't think I get success here either. No, still can't hit him. Move up to the next one and try. I have had success below, though. I don't know why it didn't let me do it last time. It's just weird. Dark Souls is kind of weird. Sometimes it lets you do things and sometimes it doesn't. There you go. Now we got the sweet spot. We don't have to deal with this bastard. And he's gone. Now, these moving blades can kill you in one hit because you're going to usually get knocked off and go straight to the bottom. Large Titanite shards here. Now, don't mess with that serpent down there. We're not going to free Logan, so we don't need to worry about it. Now, the boulder. Hell, like I said, if any place felt like an Indiana Jones area, it's this area. So you even have a boulder coming at you. And the boulder will change positions because there's a giant up top that continuously changes the direction depending on where you are. Now this guy here, he's pretty powerful. His weapon does bleed. I highly recommend to take him out. There's the ring here that gives you a little bit more protection against physical attacks, called the Ring of Steel Protection. Alright guys, I died here, so I'm going to do a quick edit. Don't underestimate these guys down here. We want to continue Sigward's quest, and we have to talk to him here. Also known as Onion Bro. He's sitting there on the side there. So make sure you exhaust his dialogue. He'll say something like, maybe I should try rolling. Make sure you get all the way down to that dialogue. This is the first mandatory time you have to talk to him. Now once he says that, we're free to go. Now, about these boulders. There's something I didn't do in this walkthrough and I should have, because it's a very cool trick. About these boulders, if you have the blue tearstone ring, which you should have, you can use it to pretty much go through the boulder and take next to no damage. But you have to back step into it, and it's kind of tricky to do, but I've done it before and it's pretty cool to use. Now punch the wall here to lure this guy out. And you can use the traps to, well, this is an epic fail here. Now you're supposed to have, not you, but I think I thought that the bolts were coming from the other side. But oh well. But there's an easy way to take him out, but using the trap there. Just don't do what I did. Just remember that the bolts are coming from the other side, and that you better roll out of the way. But hopefully you guys will get easy parries with these guys, because they're not too bad. Now, right here's where I should have used the blue tearstone ring to show you guys how easy the boulder can be. It really is a cool trick to do. Speedrunners use it. But what we're going to do is we're going to run up here to the very top, and we're going to drop down and plunge. Attack this guy. Backstab him, get rid of him. There are two ways you can go here. One will lead to the lingering dragon crest ring, and the other will lead to the gold serpent ring, which we definitely want the gold serpent ring, so take this path. There's a sorcery right there we don't need, called Hush, since we're not using magic of any description. Now, there's this elevator that's quite the trap. Let it go to the top first. Don't get on it just yet, because it's going to go into some spikes at the top. That's why there's blood on there showing you. Now, just roll off, and you get to the bottom. Do not attack this mimic. We have no need of attacking the mimics. We're not getting the mimic hat or anything, so we just want to hang out right here and wait for that hole to get filled up with boulders. Once it's filled up with boulders, another boulder will show up and destroy the wall, and behind that wall is our prize. And that will end episode 6. And then in the next episode, while we're waiting for the boulders, the next episode we will go to New Londo Ruins and farm some Titanite chunks and get the large ember so we can ascend our weapons to maximum plus 15. And then we are going to finally upgrade our stats so we can become uber powerful. And here comes the last boulder. As soon as this one comes, just make a run for it. Now don't hang around here. After getting the ring, just bone out. Here we go. And that's it, guys. I apologize for how long it took to get this video out to you guys, but my wife had COVID. I had to get a second dose of the COVID vaccine, and it gave me a lot of side effects. But we're cool now.